Hi you guys, my name is Olivia. Welcome to my channel. I talk homeschool things and mommyhood things. I'm a stay-at-home mama to 3. I have a 7th grade son, a 3rd grade daughter, and I also have a 2.5-year-old daughter. Today I am talking 3rd grade curriculum picks. And yes, it is the end of September. I know it's taken me a while to get this out. Truly, I didn't get a whole lot of the curriculum, like the bulk of the curriculum for our school year until the beginning of August. We had a really full year. I wanted some more time to research, dive into things, and kind of assess where we were. And so then we started school the last week of August. We have been in this about 5 school weeks so far, and I really like what we've chosen. I'm excited for my daughter for her 3rd grade year. I feel like I was able to find things that I know she's really interested in that are also going to challenge her just a little bit, which is what you need every single year for your school kiddos. I would like to jump just right in and hopefully make this quick. Okay, I'm gonna start off with math. So the Singapore Primary Mathematics US edition. I have a whole video on this curriculum and why I love it so much. And we've used so many math curriculums. We've used Saxon, Singapore, Math with Confidence, Rod and Staff, The Good and the Beautiful. And whenever we try something new, I always come back to primary mathematics. At this point, for the way my kiddos, my 2 oldest, learn, I think that this just fits them and it's exactly what we need. And I don't think I'm going to be really mixing it up anymore until they get to pre-algebra. This is the workbook. The workbook is always in black and white, no matter what the school, like the age or the level that you get. The textbooks do start out in color for the younger years, and then everything kind of gradually wipes out the color and it's black and white and gray. It's not distracting. It's still fun. I love, love, love the way that this teaches math. I have, in the past year, made videos about Rod and Staff. I love Rod and Staff. And when my youngest comes up into kindergarten or preschool or whenever we decide to start, I absolutely will be starting with Rod and Staff. I love the way that they teach foundational things, but hitting 2nd grade level math, I absolutely am going to be popping back into Singapore and seeing if this works for my youngest the way that it's worked for her 2 older siblings. I still love Rod and Staff. Yes, I recommend that. But for us, we are definitely a Singapore Primary Mathematics US edition family for, moving into the older elementary school grades. All right, I had my eye on this curriculum as soon as the creator posted it on Instagram. I follow her on Instagram. It's by Homespun Childhood. It is beautiful. And also, her whole page is just such a wealth of information. I have tagged her here on the screen. I'm also going to tag her down below. So this is History Through Story, an American Girl Inspired History Curriculum. It starts with Kaya of the Nez Perce. I saw her post this on Instagram, and as soon as I was ready to purchase curriculum, this was the one that I scooped up. She does have plans to do it, as far as I know, for all of the American Girl stories. I've also bought the second one, the next in line. I do have to say, this is not just like a history curriculum. I haven't looked at the other ones, but as far as Kaya, this is really a cultural study. Like, it dives so deep into the culture here of the Nez Perce tribe. And also, this has been really fun for us to use because we also live in the Pacific Northwest, and the Nez Perce, their homeland, is in the Pacific Northwest. So it has been fun to kind of go over some geography and just recognizing different places around our region where our family lives for my daughter. I was anticipating something a little bit more traditional of a history curriculum, even though that she gives you a really, a fun glimpse into what you expect. There's also a huge writing component to this. We are not doing any of the writing. For us, we have different pieces of curriculum that I use in that capacity. The further into this curriculum you get, it does start going into the Lewis and Clark expedition, the gold rush and the impact that had, the reservation treaties and what that really led to as far as kind of giving you an outline of what the future was going to be looking like for the Native Americans here in the US. So it does touch on really important, vital historical information, but specifically for this, like I said, I have not looked into the other ones. It is a deep dive on some different cultural aspects of this tribe. And it has been beautiful to learn and really fun. The activities that she has in this curriculum pertaining to those pieces are so well done, and my daughters really enjoyed it. But I did want to just give a heads up that it's not kind of like a traditional history curriculum that you're going to run into. So that being said, we do have a lot going on this year. I did have intentions of purchasing a science curriculum for my 8-year-old. There's just so many moving pieces right now that including a science curriculum right now would be incredibly overwhelming. I'm already doing a block schedule where I teach grammar 1 week and history another week. When I only have a couple weeks left of the grammar. When the grammar is wrapped up and finished, then I will have time for the block week to include science. I have not purchased it yet, but my intention is to purchase the Journey Homeschool, I can't remember what they call it. The one about like the living earth, right? So like rock cycles and weather and different geological pieces. Is that what they call it? The living earth? We did biology last year, absolutely loved it. I have a video on a look into that curriculum as well and a review on it. So I mean, it's going to be later in the school year that we start that, but that is my intention for science. I do greatly enjoy that curriculum for elementary school kiddos. It is a faith-based curriculum. It's also video-based, but there are supplemental books, tests, or quizzes sort of things, labs and activities. It is a really full science curriculum and I enjoy it. If you want more information on that, please check out my video for that. Okay, I am going to jump into language arts because that's what I have the most of this year. And that's also what I feel like I really needed to invest in and focus on for this 3rd grade year for my daughter. She's very similar to my son. If you've been following me for a long time and you've watched my other curriculum videos and sort of different things that I struggle with for my son as far as content for like literature and challenging her where she needs to be, sometimes that can be hard because my daughter has a very high reading and comprehension level, but also she's still 8 and she wants fun things and sometimes whimsy things or sweet things. So she enjoys like 8-year-old content, but to challenge her in finding something that is going to meet her where she is learning wise, a lot of those things have like advanced concepts or discussions that I just don't think she's ready for. So anyway, I really searched for her for this as well. And we are not using a language arts curriculum in that it like curates the books for you and has lesson plans for you. I did source out different novel units and literature units like I did for my son. And if you watched my 7th grade curriculum video, same thing. I did not do any of the 3rd grade literature units that I did for my son when I went the same route where I picked literature units versus purchasing a language arts curriculum that has book lists and curriculum for you in that sort of sense. I will list both of those videos down below. So I will show you now the different literature units that I chose for her this year. The one that we have started with is from the Little Readers Clubhouse, and it is James and the Giant Peach. This is such a fun curriculum. There are copywork and vocabulary components that you utilize every single day, and there are different sorts of language lessons that you use, though it doesn't just focus on one language lesson. We've touched on poetry a little bit, subject, predicate a little bit, and several other pieces of grammar and language arts. So I would not say that it's comprehensive, right? I would still say at this level, you should also be using a grammar curriculum to really master and dive into the different language arts components. But it is a really sweet way to kind of deepen the book and what you're getting out of the book. There are some really yummy recipes that my daughter has loved making. That was really fun. The only thing I have to say about this, where I don't quite know if it fits for our family as far as maybe purchasing more, and I will do another literature, language arts sort of deep dive when I've done all of these ones for this year and do a whole other video on literature units or novel units, is and I understand why it is definitely like parent-led. So for me, and in all of the different levels that my kiddos are at and how they need me, you know, you're a homeschooling parent, sometimes you can be spread kind of thin, which is why I have been trying to, as they're ready for it, implement a student-led sort of environment for each of the different subjects, like I said, as they're ready for it. I'm not just going to like give her as a kindergartner everything on her own to read and never teach her anything. And it's beautiful. And I think for like a family sort of thing, that this is such a wonderful way to go. They're wanting you, there's not just a parent piece and a student piece. She's really wanting you to read this aloud with your kids and then also do the discussion questions, which means you need to be reading this with your kids to kind of get those, like to get the discussion out of it. That is what you need to be doing. That's not really where we can be right now. There's other read alouds that I'm doing with my daughter all the time. The history, this is also read aloud with your kiddo, and we love doing this together. And I'm happy to do that. I figured I would be doing that with the history portion of it. I did download the book on Apple Books, and she listens to an audiobook of this, and it's done really well. And there's fun voices for each of the characters. And if you're not familiar with this book, the characters are so silly and fun, you know, as you're probably going to run in with most of the books from Roald Dahl. That being said, like with the discussion questions, I have to be reading I've read this book several times in my lifetime and with my oldest, and even as a family read aloud a few years ago, but I don't remember the exact answers to the questions, the discussion questions. So I find myself having to go back and flip through our actual book and try to jam that in at the end of the night. So the next day I can ask her these discussion questions when we run into it. So if you have a homeschool set up in that way, this is so lovely and beautiful. And it's lovely and beautiful even if you're not doing the discussion questions, because the language arts components are fun, and the pieces that she chooses to do copy work with are really, really cute. They're always like the silly rhyming pieces or the description pieces, and those implement a lot of punctuation and different rhyming components that is valuable for them in doing copy work, in reading it themselves and then writing it down. So I do really love that. The activities are fun. I purchased other ones from other companies for the rest of her literature units and novel guides. So the next one we're going to do for October, we are doing Bunnicula. And what a fun and silly book. I found this on Teachers Pay Teachers. And she actually has a whole third grade package. I had already landed on these other ones before I found this one, so I didn't think that I had room for any more. If we do wind up having more room for another novel, I will definitely go check out some of these. It's done super well. Obviously, I'm going to post a link down below for you to check it out yourself, but my daughter's she has a bunny. She loves bunnies, and this is told from the dog's point of view. As far as I remember, I think it's told from the dog's point of view. It's been years since I've read that book, but I thought that would be really fun. It is a third grade level for her. This one is not third grade. So this is actually grade 5 to 7. If I'm going to see how she can do it, and I am planning on doing this later on in the school year, maybe the last one, but I got Shiloh for her from Progeny Press. My daughter's favorite animal is a dog. She loves dogs. She loves puppies. She loves all of that. And Shiloh is such a sweet story. I did not realize until I purchased the Shiloh book when I did a curriculum unboxing. I will link that video down below. And on the back were the printed sequels to Shiloh. I didn't realize that it was a series. I thought that it was just a solo book. But anyway, going to try this at the end of the school year, see where it's at. Progeny Press is a faith-based curriculum. This is from a Christian point of view. The book umbrella novel studies, secular. Little Readers Clubhouse, secular. The next one I got, another animal-based one. This is grades 3 to 5. This is from Novel Units. This is because of Winn-Dixie. Kind of a theme for my kiddo. I love Novel Units. A lot of the ones that I purchased for my 7th grader this year were Novel Units. I found Novel Units when I did a 3rd grade literature guide year for my son, and loved Novel Units then. So I really like the way that these are set up. The last one that I purchased is from Moving Beyond the Page, and this is Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. This is the 3rd grade, if I'm remembering correctly. This is ages 8 to 10. So I think that's in their 3rd grade curriculum package. It might be 4th grade. I have multiple videos on Moving Beyond the Page. I really love the way that this is done. They do a lot of grammar work in their language arts pieces, which I really appreciate. They do comprehension. There are different sorts of activities for different literary units in here. I enjoy this. Moving Beyond the Page is also secular. Okay, to round out language arts, I also purchased the next Explode the Codes for her. She's done, we never do the half levels. I've kind of looked at the samples online of half levels, and for me, I don't think they're necessary for my daughter, so I just move up into the whole numbers. So she's done 1, 2, 3, 4. She's in 5 right now. I got 6 for when she runs into it. This is kind of what she does if I'm doing something with my toddler or teaching my son something. This is one of those things that she does. All right, 2 other things we did. I was looking into my downloads. I don't know if any other homeschooling parents are like me, but there are so many really fun digital downloads out there, and people are always putting on sales. Years ago, I picked these up and I forgot that I had them, and I was just going through my files online and I saw them. And they are these 2 kind of geography units. One is map skills and one is landforms. This is something I didn't realize needed for my kiddo to be explicitly taught until we were driving around a lot this summer. And the conversations that came up about like what direction we were going, we've actually already been here before, this is how you recognize that. And well, we know what those mountains are because they're on this side when we're going this direction. Anyway, I thought it would be picked up just like in lifestyle. That's okay that we need a little bit more work because these are really fun to do. I picked these up. I don't think they're necessarily at a 3rd grade level. You could definitely do these, I'm sure, at a 2nd and a 1st grade, if not even a kindergarten level, but they're cute and fun. So they're digital downloads. I will list where I purchased them down below. The last thing, actual hard curriculum that, nope, I'm kidding, I've got 2. But the second to the last one I'm going to mention is I bought this Mythical Creatures Simple Studies. This is beautiful. So the creator made it so that there's a book that you learn a new mythical creature for each piece of it, and it dives into the culture and a little bit of a cultural study of where each of those creatures originated from. My daughter loves fantasy and creatures. I love the cultural study aspect of this. It's done so beautifully. There's also a lot of different supplemental books that she includes for each week that are not necessary to complete the curriculum, but it just, makes it a little fuller if you have time and space and you're wanting to do that. This is done so well. My daughter's loving this. All right, the last piece of what I was going to show you is, you will have seen this last year if you follow any of our curriculum and what we were doing for the last year. This is from Purposeful Design. I have a whole flip through and review of this language arts curriculum. I will post it down below. This is the second grade year, but we just didn't get to all of it. I had about 10 weeks left at the start of the school year of instruction in here. I am only doing the grammar out of this though. So each week, for 1 week, all those 5 days of school, I will do one of the week's worth of grammar lessons from here. But if you're wanting a full comprehensive language arts curriculum, I dive into all of that in that video. This is a faith-based curriculum. So I would check that out if that's something you're looking into, but I am only using this for grammar. I am not using it for writing, reading, phonics, any of the other pieces. So lastly, I am going to just kind of give a rundown into what she's doing extracurricularly. We are part of an Awana program. I mention this every year because we do it every year. It is so much fun. It spans the school year, starts in September, ends like the first week of May or so. And it is a children's discipleship club. And she has so much fun doing it. There are many other Awanas in our region, and we get together to do all sorts of things outside of like our weekly get-togethers. Our Awana is pretty big also, like in the age group that they have them broken up into age group for middle, elementary through 6th grade. Our Awana has about 82 kids in that age range, and then there's more kids that are older, there's more kids that are younger outside in different groups. She has a lot of fun just learning God's word and doing some different lessons and Bible studies that way, as well as playing with other kids. Our Awana participates in Awana games where all of the different Awana groups in the region get together, and it's like a big giant relay kind of indoor. It's hard to explain. There's a lot of different games, and it's a big competition between all of the Awanas. My kids participate in Bible quizzing, where they are quizzed with other Awana groups on different portions of the Bible, and you have to learn teamwork. My daughter is also part of a competitive gymnastics team. She made the competition team this year. So, I mean, she's at practice hours and hours during the week, and then also competitions run in kind of the winter time. So she's been really loving that, and she loves her team and the coaches and the girls there. She also started piano lessons this year. My son started violin lessons at 9, maybe 10. I can't remember, but she has been asking ever since he started violin. She's been asking to start piano, and his same piano teacher, violin teacher, also teaches piano. And so I figured at this point, she has the capacity to take on a little bit more on top of her physical activities and commitments, her school activities and commitments. We can fit in piano lessons now and piano practice every day. So she's doing piano as well. So that concludes my 3rd graders curriculum for this year. If you guys have any questions about any of the pieces of curriculum that I mentioned today, please leave those in the comments down below. If you've used anything that I mentioned today, I would love to hear from you guys. If you've read any of these books or used any of these different pieces, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, leave that in the comments down below too. I love chatting that kind of stuff with everybody. If you're wanting a look into like a further deep dive into anything I mentioned, please let me know. I'm not always sure what everybody wants to see or wants a look into. As always, I'm going to be posting links for where I found things, including videos if I have any about any of the other curriculum that I mentioned. If you're wanting anything specifically, just reach out to me. Otherwise, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.